everybody, it's Michael Russell here from the Beyond Instinct podcast. This is our first ever episode that we have done. It's just myself today because I wanted to introduce what it's about and why we're doing it. So that's it. So we're going to be doing a bi-weekly podcast, so once every 2 weeks. A little bit about me. I'm a entrepreneur, I guess, is the one word to call it. I have multiple businesses that I either solely own or own shares in or assist around. And I've been in business for around 10 years. I've made many mistakes like loads of businesses. I've also made many good decisions like loads of businesses. And I've been on a very long journey throughout the whole of the business landscape that I have been on. I know a variety of great people with great skill sets, and my business community is fantastic. So this is something I've decided that we're going to be doing that I've wanted to do for a very long time. It's going to be run by Orca Intelligence, who's my strategy and consultancy business. Basically, we put strategies and growth procedures in your business for long-term growth through people intelligence and communication. But the podcast is going to sit in that arena because a lot of it is going to be about strategy. A lot of it's going to be about frameworks. It's going to be about systems. It's going to be about mindsets. It's going to be about skill sets. It's going to be about expertise and everything in between. The majority of the time, we're going to have somebody else in on it. Like I said, once every 2 weeks. And we will be sort of in an interview style, be talking to them about their subject. We will also get feedback from what you guys want to hear. And we will try and put subjects on that are relevant to you. Now, I know obviously there's a lot of these podcasts around. So why start another one? Something I've always wanted to do, I think, is one of it. Everyone my whole life has said that I'm good at talking, so I don't know if that's a criticism or a positive, but I guess for a podcast, positive. And so that's why we've started it. I love talking business. Business is my hobby, and I wanted to produce something that can genuinely help people, so you can take things away from this. So in every podcast, we are going to have actual, tangible takeaway items for you on the subject that we're in. It's not going to be a theory based. There's going to be actions in there as well. There'll be a lot of discussions around theory because obviously there's going to be some conflicting views on here, which will all be healthy and challenging. But that is what this main podcast is going to be about. So as I said, each episode is going to feature interviews with business leaders, industry experts, and strategists who share insights on building high-performing teams, leading with purpose, mastering adaptability. Actionable advice, real-world examples. So you're going to hear a lot of our stories, a lot of my stories, scenarios that I can laugh about now, but at the time were not laughable. And hopefully can help you skip some gaps of what I haven't skipped so well. So, being the first podcast I've ever done or been on, this is going to be highly unpolished. We don't have a special podcast room. We don't have sound deadening. This is a real building with real people working in it. And albeit I will be trying to do it after everybody's left, some of these episodes will be done whilst people are in the building. Some of these will be done whilst I'm on a trip via clip-on mics. Some of them will be done in other people's offices. So it's a real... without saying the word twice, it's the real world podcast. So that's where we're going to be going. So firstly, about me. So obviously, I'm Michael Russell, as I said at the beginning. You'll be able to find me on LinkedIn. I'm not really on any other socials, but you will be able to find me on LinkedIn. I've been in business for around 10 years now, starting in 2015. I came into the family business at 2015 after being a bit frustrated as a mechanic, thinking that I knew how to run everything and do everything myself. Obviously got a hard, quick shock when I came into business, and I've been in and around business ever since. First 1 or 2 years I found quite hard, and I think that's an understatement, but we will go into that in some of the podcasts. And the once I got to grips with things, I got the bug, and I've been obsessed ever since, from audibles every single time I'm in the car, to podcasts, to networking meetings, to seminars, to trainings, to business coaches, to becoming a business coach, to how performance works, how teams work, psychographics, everything in between. And obviously, most recently, I've got a high level of interest in marketing, because a lot of business is done with sales and marketing. There's everything else behind it, but if you haven't got sales and marketing, then it's going to be quite hard to grow your business. So that's a little bit about me. So I've been in the business, like I said, about 10 years. I joined back in 2015, and so I came into the business, started to try and learn the business. It was a business that my granddad started and my dad bought from my granddad. My dad did really well out of it, and he grew it fantastically, and he also started another company called Eagle. By the time I came into it, it was kind of wound down a bit, because he was thinking of retiring or whatever. So when I came in, there wasn't really much going on. We had a couple of members of staff and a good amount of clients, but I think there was about 2 or 1 even that was paying for 80% of the bills. So that was the situation, which I didn't realize at the time when I came into it, obviously, because I knew nothing about business. But the customers that were paying for the building, they've been part of the company for 20 odd years. So the likelihood of them moving was quite low. But obviously, to somebody that's never had a business, that was quite scary. So so that's what I did, came into the business. So after about 3 years, I hired one of my best friends. He really helped within the business and grew us together. We had no idea what we were doing. We were just driving around in a van, like dropping random leaflets off. And I should explain that the business is now called Motion Cleaning Machines. It was called CSA. It has been on a journey, and I'm really, really, really proud of where it is now. I started buying it in 2016. So 2015 was sort of understanding, am I going to do this? Am I not? 2016 was just made the commitment, and I started buying it from my father. And obviously I've bought that now. And since then I bought another business from a friend of my granddad and my dad's, which was in the same industry. And I bought my other dad's business, Eagle, and combined them all together. And that is now what is called Motion. So I've got plenty of stories about that. It's a cleaning machinery distribution business. So we supply, hire, sell, and repair cleaning machinery, from industrial anti-explosion vacuum cleaners by the manufacturer Ruach, to large brush washers for coaches, lorries, and trains by the manufacturer Bitec. And we also do your traditional cleaning equipment, so floor cleaners, pressure washers, that kind of stuff. When I purchased the business, I'd say 90% of everything we did, 95% of everything we did was pressure washers. We made a conscious decision in the last few years to move away from that, because that's not our market. And we now niche down on the manufacturing, transport industry, and it serves us really well. What the company does beside that, I think, is we have an incredible team, a very, very good culture, which has taken a long, long time to get there. But again, I'll explain a lot of that over the many pods once you get the inside info on everything we've been doing. So I think the other side of it is our systems and processes. So we're implementing a brand new business architecture at the moment. The one we've got is already quite advanced, but we're very keen on being the forefront, and being a small team of 12. We're agile, so we can act and adapt really, really, really fast. And the team are brilliant. I always talk about them as a team of Spartans. So you only, 12 of us are worth 100 of anyone else in another company. It's not an easy entry level to get in. But once you're in, you're in. And it's fantastic, the way they work together, the way they communicate. If you came into the office, you'd think not much is getting done. They're just talking on tangents about random stuff all the time, of mysteries of the world and what's right, what's wrong, politics, the rest. But they are high performers, and we get loads done. So we managed to balance everything together, which worked really, really nicely. So that was the main business that I started, and then I struggled with marketing for a long, long time. So I was an ex-mechanic, Volkswagen, Audi, Bentley, and I did my most of my years in the Vindis Group with a hint of Jardine. Vindis Group are really, really good. But I think that I just got frustrated. And obviously being a mechanic, sometimes I think you can get overlooked for moving forward because you're a mechanic, you work on cars. But I think that's really unfair because I think I've taken that mechanic mindset and put that into business, and it's been phenomenal for me, is the word. But one thing I did have to learn to adapt to is not everything works like a machine. So whilst I'm hyper efficient, people, for example, don't work like machines. Sales doesn't really work like a machine. There's an algorithm certainly to it, but there's a lot of grey areas that are in the middle. And marketing doesn't work like a machine at the beginning. Once you've got it right and you know exactly what you're doing and it's been implemented for probably 6-12 months, yeah, it can work a bit more like a machine. Although the environment's always changing, so you have to upgrade the machine if you like, but it will work like a machine. And at the beginning, I wanted it to be, I put £10 in, I get £20 out with no testing. And obviously, any good marketer will tell you that is not going to happen. And I just believed that people weren't good enough, being honest with you. So I started my own marketing company, which at the time was called Team Orca. And I employed Alison, who had a master's in marketing. She's been fantastic, still with us now. And that company's been on a fantastic journey of doing training, doing marketing, obviously, for various different companies. Training, as I just said, a bit of strategy, bit of filming, bit of editing, bit of everything. And after AI really hit the market, I decided, you know what, don't know if this is where I want to be, growing a marketing company and leading a marketing company into the next stage. So what happened is it didn't go dormant, but we took on a few clients and it marketed Motion, my other company's business, and these other clients. It's been sitting there happily ever since. Recently, we have just completely changed the business. So it started about 12 months ago where Orca moved from marketing to consultancy, and I was consulting a few businesses on their business in all areas, from finance to strategy to marketing to sales to people, HR, whatever you want to call it, everything in between. And Orca sat on the back of that, and that's kind of the area it's going to go down because marketing, whether external, internal, it's all communications. So it still fits really, really well. And then a guy that I used to know, or I met a few years ago, is a strategist called Tim Britt, and he worked with people like Marshall's Aerospace and many other companies. He'll be on here soon. He has wanted to work with me for quite a long time. We've never had the opportunity, but as Orca was becoming a business consultancy and he is a business strategist, that made sense. So he is now part of what is called Orca Intelligence. We changed the name because obviously it's a different purpose, and the old one sounded like Cheerleader Squad. And that's been about a month and a half now. So we've got a brand new website coming out. We got a fantastic framework for business, so growth through people. And, I'm not going to talk about that now because this podcast isn't about selling that. It's about just updating you where we are. And you'll hear various different views, things from Tim, myself, and Alison on this podcast over the years to come. So they will be all introduced to you. And then more recently as well, I've been working with another company called VDM, Velocity Design and Marketing, who are a digital marketing agency, funny enough. And albeit I said I didn't want to grow a digital marketing agency, what I meant, I think, is from ground up. So from day one startup. They're already established. They're doing very good. They've got a highly effective skill set in the business. And I think we realize there's a gap where they can get as far as they can get, which they believe they have. And with my business acumen, commercial skills, whatever you want to call it, that's my skill set. I've joined that company as a shareholder and commercial director, and we're looking at obviously moving that into the next zone of where that's going to be, which is like everything I'm involved with, just it's not going to be. Marketing is the output of what it does, and it will do it incredibly well, but the people will want to work with us because they want to work with us. You don't even really need to talk about the marketing too much or why we need it or et cetera, because the trust, respect and everything else is going to be there in between. So It gives you a bit of an idea of the portfolio. I'm also an ICF accredited coach in executive team coaching and executive coaching direct. So I did that mainly for my own team, but also, fits with everything else I'm doing. And yeah, so I don't want to ramble on too much about myself, but I just wanted to give you a bit of a background of who I am. And kind of almost what gives me a little bit of credibility to run a podcast about business. So I don't know everything by any means, but I've consumed a lot of data. My main skill sets are innovation, analysis, and adaptation, I would say. I'm also very good at action. And I know that sounds really weird, but you find a lot of people will do a lot of talking about a lot of strategies, but actually turning strategy into action is not a lot of people's skill set, as where I think it's mine. Hence why we've grown so quickly over all of the different businesses. And without sounding cliche, everything we do is raving fans. So hopefully when this podcast gets some traction, gets going, you will all be raving fans of this podcast, and that's the game. So you won't find me trying to sell a brush wash for a train in here, or a marketing strategy to you, or a business growth strategy to you. That's not what this is about. It's genuinely a platform to talk about what we talk about every single day and give SMEs actionable advice. It's something that, I used to listen to Diary of a CEO for, and I think that Diary of a CEO is still fantastic, but it's very big picture now. And I think that, it's still relevant, this local picture. That the majority of small business is I think it's between, I can't remember, like 8 and 100 employees or something, and although Diary of a CEO is incredible, it doesn't always, filter down to where we are. So that's the plan. Based in Cambridgeshire, that's who I am, that's what we're doing, and that's why we're doing this. So the next one's going to be in 2 weeks' time. I know it seems a long gap considering this is just like a little intro of what it is. And it's probably going to be with a pod. So Orca Intelligence, the team in Orca Intelligence. I love orcas. So if you hear a lot of stuff about orcas, it's my love for orcas. My coaching consultancy is Falcon Site. I love falcons. I'm not some sort of weird animal man. They're my 2 favorite creatures. So I just decided that they're going to be business names, and they fit really well. So Falcon Sight because of pinpoint vision. If you know exactly what you're looking at, you know exactly where you're going. And Orca Intelligence because they're the apex predators in any environment they go into, and it's because they learn how to. They're extremely good at communicating, and they're highly intelligent. So they work as a team, and they execute really well. So they do fit. They fit really well. The other company's called Motion. So that's not an animal. It's just forward motion. So everything's powered by motion. That's the tagline. So yeah. So that's where we are. I'll also be getting some suppliers on here. So, we have suppliers in Italy in Motion. We have suppliers in Germany for Motion, and getting their perspective of European markets, how collaboration from European manufacturers works with UK manufacturers. So there's going to be real practical stuff in there as well as theory. We've got some HR people coming on, which is fantastic. This Pip Volsham, who's fantastic at HR. She's coming on, which will be really good. We've got some a guy that works in currency that wants to start his own currency that's not crypto. It's actually backed by pound, which is really interesting. So I want to get him on as well. And there's a few other people in between. If you're listening to this right now and you think, I've got something to say and I want people to hear it, pitch it to me, fire it out to me. My email is michael@orcaintelligence.co.uk. So send me what you want on and we will filter through. I don't expect we're going to have millions at day one, so the chance of you getting on is going to be quite high. But as this goes on, it might go a bit more selective, or we might have to theme it around, the month that we're planning to do this, come on, etc. So yeah, so that's where we are. So in true theme of this pod, actionable advice. What can I say today? And I actually don't have anything written down in front of me as true my style. What can I say today that you've been kind enough to listen to me for 19 minutes? What can I say today that can be actionable advice? I think this sounds quite wishy-washy, but I use it quite a lot with people, and that's be careful of language. There you go. There's something you can think about today. So be careful of language. And the reason I say be careful of language is because what you say is what you feel. And you've got to really be careful of language. So some people might come in and I hear people say, this is absolutely horrific. Is it horrific, or is it just a small inconvenience? And is it horrific that's going to be the worst thing in the world in 10 years? Because if it's not, then it's not. It's an inconvenience. It's a bump in the road. It's annoying. It's not horrific. And it sounds so wishy-washy, this. And the first time I heard it, I thought this sounds wishy-washy. But what you label things as are kind of what you feel. So if something is horrific, that sounds awful. If there's a minor bump in the road, that's not so bad. So to give you an example, Motion's having a new architecture system, software architecture, as I say, or software system, whatever you want to call it, put in place. And there's a lot going on. So not only are we changing finance software, changing finance, stock, the way the inventory works, the CRM, our internal communication system, our desk system, everything all in one go, because we don't do things by halves. And obviously, as you can imagine, that is putting a lot of stress and pressure on the team and myself. Now, we could come in and say the next couple of months are going to be so stressful, pressurized, horrible, horrific, tough, whatever you want to call. I'm promoting the word bumpy. Next couple of months are going to be a bit bumpy, guys. Doesn't sound as bad. And the challenges are going to be the same, whether you set yourself up for the road to be a bit bumpy, or the next 3 months are going to be horrific. Who wants to go to work and know the next 3 months are going to be horrific? As where if you go to work and you think it's going to be a bit bumpy, it doesn't sound as bad. The thing is the exact same. And I know this sounds wishy-washy, guys. I've said it so many times before, but just try it. Honestly, try it in any environment. It could be, personal environment, business environment, wherever it is. Just try language. So next time you sit there and you think, oh, this is horrific, or you hear someone go, this is utter rubbish, just pause them and go, is it up to rubbish? Is it is that really what it is? Or is it just annoying? Is it just inconvenient? Is it just something we've got to deal with that came out today that we weren't expecting to deal with? Or is it utter rubbish? Because if it is utter rubbish, it's fine. That's okay. It can be utter rubbish, And if it is horrific, it can be horrific. But be careful of language. It's a very, very small thing that I started doing years ago, and my team will probably laugh when they hear this, but because I go on about it so much, but it's really, really true. Careful of what comes out of your mouth, because your brain hears it and it will confirm it. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. So there's going to be a lot more depth on the other podcasts. There's going to be a lot more conversation because there's two people versus just me. But I wanted to do the first one off the bat quickly, just to introduce what it is and why we're doing it, and a bit about myself and my businesses. So it's a really quick one, 23 minutes, 24 minutes. So that's it for today. I'll just remind you of what it is. So it's Beyond Instinct. We're going to draw inspiration from the intelligence, adaptability, and teamwork of orcas, nature's most strategic apex predators. It explores how businesses can move beyond instinctive reactions to embrace data-driven insights, calculated strategies, and seamless collaboration to achieve sustainable success. Thank you, ChatGPT. Each episode features interviews with business leaders, industry experts, and strategists who share insights on building high-performing teams, leading with purpose, and mastering adaptability. Listeners will gain actionable advice, real-world examples, and proven frameworks to implement that in their own organizations. So that's us. That's the tagline that's going to be underneath it, Spotify. And looking forward to getting this rocking and rolling. Looking forward to getting this going. Really excited. And I appreciate all of you that have hung on for the full 25 minutes time just to listen about me. And the next one will be in a few weeks' time. Have a great day, all.